Hello fellow bike people! Today I bring you something that I haven't actually done yet on this channel. Indoor trainers. So because we've been stuck here in quarantine and, you know, it's nasty outside, we really are stuck indoors, we picked one of these up. This is the Saris M2 Smart trainer. It's a pretty simple concept. It works just like basically every other trainer out there. Essentially, you know those Pelotons that everyone's really into these days and you always see ads for? Well, basically those are really expensive and they take up a lot of space. This is much less expensive and has all the same functionality, and really all you need is a smartphone, this, and your bike, and you put your own bike in this. Now when I say it's a smart trainer, that means it's compatible with all kinds of apps that'll let you simulate rides, do workouts, you know, social things, even just like track data if that's your thing. So you can get a really personalized workout with these.
I love this because sometimes when I'm stuck at home and it is cold outside, I'm working from home, I kind of have the zoomies. I feel like I need to go walking or get some energy out. So I love being able to just really hop on this right after work for like 30 minutes and just really get my energy out, which is awesome.
Pardon the super messy bed, just got to show you the trainer. Ha! We got it! Go for it.
Oh, it's so pretty. Okay.
So there's the actual unit itself. We just got to bolt it in place. So in terms of unboxing, this is the box it came in. It folds down into this, so pretty good for storage. When you're not using it throughout the summer months, just toss it in the closet. It really doesn't take up much space. Assembly is fairly easy overall. Basically you have to slide this mechanism in here, which is what clamps the bike in place. You have to unfold the legs, and you have to attach this unit here at the back, which just kind of bolts on. In the interest of being fair and balanced, I will say I've assembled a few other trainers from Tax and Wahoo. They bolted on a lot easier than this. It's kind of a really tight plastic fitting in there, and then the two metal pieces at either end. And it's a lot of effort to wiggle the bolt into place so you can actually connect the threads and have them bolt together.
I found it really easy. I just asked you to do it for me.
So basically, I'm sure Saris themselves wouldn't say to do this, but it seems like this, it's totally fine if you just give it a few taps with a hammer if you're having trouble getting it in there.
Also, one thing that I love about it is it's pretty small. It's not a whole lot wider than the bike itself. It's not even much wider than the bars, honestly. We make it work in our small space, so I just love how space-saving this thing is. I mean, this one just kind of looks cooler, but is that going to change how my bike handles?
So the riding experience on this. Again, in the interest of being fair and balanced, I want to say this one seems a little bit louder than some of its competitors. Now, we are not using a trainer tire because they're not available right now. We're just using the original tire. So that is generating some noise of its own. But it seems like there's maybe a little bit more vibration noise in this one than some of the competitors. Honestly, I don't think it's enough to really worry about unless you're very conscious of noise, but just in the interest of being fair and balanced, I want to let you know that is something that I've noticed with this one.
I mean, it's loud enough that we wouldn't really be able to ride it while the other person was sleeping or even working from home, so that's a really big thing to consider.
Although that said, the only truly silent indoor trainers are much more expensive than this style, where instead of mounting your entire bike in here, you take the wheel off and it replaces the rear wheel. Those are virtually silent, but they can cost twice as much as this style of trainer. Now riding this one, that's really what is amazing and mind-blowing about it. Because I've tried other trainers before, but they were all smart equipped instead of smart trainers, which means they can talk to the app, but they can't receive information from the app. Meaning, if you have a smart equipped trainer, like some of Saris's lower end models, like the Fluid and the Mag, there's no feedback. So let's say you're on Zwift. They can tell your character on screen to accelerate, but when your character hits a hill, it's not going to make the resistance any harder on the trainer. This one, however, is a full smart trainer. So you can do amazing things with it in terms of like simulating real rides. If you come up to a hill on an app that gives you a real riding simulator, it's going to make it harder when you're going uphill. It's going to make it easier when you're going downhill. Some of the more advanced apps I'm sure will even do aerodynamics if you're behind another rider. So there's all kinds of capability with these things.
My gears have never got as much of a workout as they have on this. When I was going through some hills, it was just the rolling hills. I was shifting up and shifting down and shifting up to accommodate for the hills, and it makes a huge difference. Alright, so I found the instructions on what I did. Basically, I was finding that the hills were making it way too difficult. I was just dying at these little tiny hills. So I found out how to change the resistance in Zwift so that the feedback was not as intense and the hills weren't as hard for me. So essentially I just had to go to the menu on the pairing screen, click on settings, find the trainer difficulty slider, and I was able to just slide it along that scale. And I'll probably end up changing it as I kind of get more into Zwift.
Now that's something they actually don't tell you about. The way we found this was an article on pinkbike.com, which I'll try and find and put down in the description below. But yeah, it mentioned that one of the people doing a review of this trainer tried to do exactly that and found the hills were a bit harder than with the other trainers, so they just found the slider in Zwift, reduced it to a somewhat more reasonable level, and it felt much more realistic. So with the trainer, you're definitely going to want some accessories. Like I mentioned earlier, we don't have a specific trainer tire for this, and that's something you're probably going to want, because it makes it much quieter, and they don't wear out anywhere near as fast as a road tire will on one of these. Now the other thing to think about with a smart trainer is how you're going to view whatever app you're using with it. You can use a laptop, you can hook it up to a smart TV, something like that. But if you're using your phone, something to think of is a phone holder directly on your bike like Brianna has. Hers is from Thule. Again, I'll try and find a link to it and just put it down in the description below.
It's honestly so easy and so convenient to have it there, so I can just turn on my Zwift app, have that going, and as I'm riding, and then I can just switch back and forth between my music, YouTube videos, whatever it is that I'm kind of doing while I'm Zwifting. So having that there is awesome. Also, I found that having the phone mount there is great even if I have a TV or another screen, because I can have Zwift here and then be watching Netflix or YouTube on my other screen. So really, really handy.
That actually makes me think of something I've heard mentioned a lot at CyclePath. Now, we don't do this because we actually enjoy the apps, but I know a lot of people, they don't really like the road simulation apps or the workout apps. The apps they use are literally just for tracking metrics. So something a lot of people will do is just put something up on a screen in front of them, like using a TV and putting on a video of somebody else using a GoPro to film their ride and just riding along with it. For that kind of thing, I don't think you need something quite like the M2, because the whole reason to get this instead of something like the Fluid or the Mag is that complete smart compatibility. So I would definitely say if you're looking at this one, think of it because you want to use apps like Zwift, not because you're thinking of just putting something up on the screen in front of you and riding with it. That said, you could definitely use this for that and just use an app that tracks your metrics. It's totally up to you. This is still an amazing trainer if you want to do that. It's just the Fluid and the Mag will have the same kind of compatibility.
I also want to mention that Zwift is very easy, very user-friendly. I'm not a bike person, I'm not a cyclist, I don't know a whole lot about this world, and I found Zwift just so easy. I love it. So it's very, very user-friendly, and it's not intimidating.
So last few things, we're done talking specifically about the trainer, so if you feel like clicking off the video, I don't blame you if you go at this point. But we want to talk about the clothing that we wear for this, because just like riding on a real bike, it does make a difference. So the bit that I have a bit more experience with is the shoes. So you notice these are not clip-in shoes, these are just a flat bottom, but they're cycling specific. These are the Specialized 2FO shoes. They're intended for mountain biking. Like, they're really stiff sole, they have tons of grip, and they're well ventilated. The reason I like riding these with the trainer is because they don't flex down at all.
Yeah, actually, when we got this trainer, I was not really interested in shoes. We didn't really have a reason to look at shoes for me. I found actually once I started riding, I was going a little bit farther than normal, a little bit faster than normal, just putting in a little bit more effort than I would if we were just riding around, where I just wear normal sneakers, shoes, moccasins, anything with just a soft sole. I don't really pay attention. But I found these really started to hurt my feet, and these shoes make a huge difference.
Now, most people using a trainer will want to clip in, and that is honestly the more efficient choice. It gives you a much more efficient pedal stroke because you can pull up as well as push down on the pedals. But for casual riders, something like this, that's really all you need. If you are going to be a bit more serious with it though, you might look into clipping in.
I also find these are very versatile because I'm also going to be riding this bike outside in the summer, so I'm going to be able to wear these shoes. I'm not going to want to clip in when I'm just riding around, but I will still want to wear these shoes. So they're really versatile and not only used with the trainer as if they were clip-ins.
Yeah, when you start going outside again, you have to buy your own pair. These ones are mine.
I know, I can't steal yours anymore. So I guess I'll put a quick note on the clothing that I like to wear. I have been in love with Fabletics. I've just seen all the influencers kind of talking about it. I decided to check it out at the beginning of quarantine. Now it's basically all I wear. I have my sports bras and leggings of different colors, and I essentially wear them all the time. I need to basically have 5 pairs or 7 pairs so I can wear them every day because they're just so comfortable, especially when I'm on the trainer, going a little farther and harder and sweating a little more than normal.
As I'm wearing a Fabletics hat, I feel like I should point out we have no affiliation with, nor are we sponsored by Fabletics. She's just a really big fan of Fabletics.
It's my work from home outfit as well. I love it. They're so comfortable. Oh, and they have pockets in the leggings, which is incredible. And even the biggest phones will fit.
So yeah, that's the Saris M2 Smart Trainer. Definitely something I'd recommend if you want to get into this. This is a great unit, despite the few little foibles it has.